Pepsi Prebiotic Cola in original and cherry vanilla. That Pepsi taste you love with just 30 calories and no artificial sweeteners. Pepsi Prebiotic Cola. Unbelievably Pepsi.
From our virtual studios in the Netherlands and Camarillo, California, it is time once again, everybody, for the Marketing Geeks. Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Marketing Geeks, and we have an exciting show for you this week. What do we got, Andros?
We got the first ever time that we have a married couple together on our show. This is a whole new experience for everybody. We are going to get into all sorts of topics. These guys are SEO experts and content specialists. And it's going to be amazing because they're going to tell you how to run a busy life and a business that's successful, SEO tips, and all sorts of things.
While having 3 kids under the age of 4, which is important to mention.
That's right. And I've got 1 and a dog, and that is hard. So
I've got 1 and 2 cats, right? So
that's right. It's hard to tell the difference. I know. But without further ado, Marketing Geeks.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
K-pop Demon Hunters Haja Boys Breakfast Meal and Huntrix Meal have just dropped at McDonald's. They're calling this a battle for the fans. What do you say to that, Rumi?
It's not a battle. So glad the Saja Boys could take breakfast and give our meal the rest of the day.
It is an honor to share.
No, it's our honor.
It is our larger honor.
No, really. Stop.
You can really feel the respect in this battle. Pick a meal to pick a side.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's while supplies last.
Now, as a marketer, you know that your website is the most important brand asset that you have for any digital experience. So you need to make sure that you need to have testing and building and optimizing for your site. And that's why there is a solution that is called Pantheon. It's a platform that will give you a Drupal or WordPress experience that surpasses any other platform. What do you think of that?
In fact, it's actually the only web ops platform built from the ground up for agility. And it actually gives web teams agile superpowers to iterate faster and deliver results.
In fact, it's so good that organizations like Coach, Yale University, and ACLU trust Pantheon to keep their sites fast, scalable, and secure. And there's a listener offer. So if you go to pantheon.io/marketinggeeks, Pantheon will give you a special thing.
Special welcome offer. So again, that's pantheon.io/marketinggeeks. You're going to want to check that out.
Back to the show.
Hello, everybody. We are back, and it is time once again for another stupendous episode. So this is a first. We have a husband and wife team who they started a business that caters to SEO and content marketing, social media marketing, and basically they were in the rat race. They got mentored by a top-notch strategist. I want to hear about that. And then finally, they went on to start their own business, which is holisticmade.com. And it's not if you want to get that's MADE, but not if you want to get your house cleaned by someone who's holistic with like natural cleansers.
Oh, that kind of made. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They focus on health and wellness. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan and Sascha Schlossberg. Yay!
Very close. Schlossberg.
Oh, man. You know,
you're so good. You're so good. And I got to tell you, I love what you did with Holistic Maid, because I'm always afraid someone's going to think we're a cleaning service.
Yeah. Well,
that's funny because that never crossed my mind. But now that you say it, it's like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for having us on the show. Yeah. We're really excited.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, it's a first for us because we've never had a married couple. So first of all, why don't you tell us a little bit about your business and what you guys do?
So we do SEO, as well as oftentimes we'll get a client who needs other things as well. And we actually love digital marketing on the whole, but everybody needs SEO, and we cater to the niche that interests us the most. So birth centers, chiropractors, naturally inclined businesses who normally are trying to do everything themselves. So they just don't have the bandwidth to do their own digital marketing as well.
So what attracted you to the health and wellness sector specifically? What about health and wellness is the reason you got involved with that industry?
So I know Jonathan wants to answer this, but I'm gonna dive in here. So he, as is common for most marketers, when you step into a business, you see all the things that need to be done for them. And we're like crunchy people. He is chomping at the bit to talk. This is so entertaining for me. So we delivered our baby at a birthing center. We see chiropractors for our health care. And so naturally he would get into these conversations with what they needed to do, how they could do it. And eventually the businesses that we went to just started hiring us. So when we decided to officially start our own agency, we already had the niche right in front of us.
Very nice.
Yeah, essentially I like to say is like years ago when we first got into it, it was like throwing spaghetti at a wall. Like this time it would be trying to work with a plumber and a real estate agent and, a mechanic and, like everybody needs it, but like there was no whittling down, no niching down. And, we didn't want to do that. It's something we're passionate about. So we get to help people that we really care about what they're doing because it's how we live our lives. Mm-hmm. And it gives us a little bit of a direction in how we run our business.
Yeah, it also sets us apart because you see so often digital marketer websites and everybody does exactly the same thing. And while that's fun, it's hard to build a business. So by getting super specific, leading with SEO and holistic, that allows us to market more effectively.
Yeah, now I just want to point something out to our 7 listeners, and that's the fact that this is one of those things that we talked about we often talk about like finding your tribe and niching down, but this is a perfect example of how you guys were able to find something that you found that you're good at. You can speak a language, and so you niche down to this idea of like holistic SEO and holistic marketing. So, there's going to be that yoga instructor who's going to see the typical SEO people who are more like commercial marketing. And they come to you and there's like, someone meditating, there's some meditation stones. There's, you speak a certain language that's going to attract your perfect customer. So when you got in alignment with this, was this something that like, what was the process to find that messaging and that niche? Like, how did that happen? Like, what was the aha moment?
It was actually Sascha had a conversation with a friend about it because, and this will take us back to sort of the origin story of how the agency was created. Is we were working for an independent publishing company. I was the VP of operations and Sascha was the lead strategist and content creator. And so we've been doing this for a couple of years. We launched 7 or 8 verticals, products, branding, sites, SEO, all that. And then July of last year, we saw the writing on the wall and funding dried up. We were working with our birth center and we were working with our chiropractor, just kind of on the side, just offering advice, and finally got hired by them. But we saw the writing on the wall, funding dried up, and literally we were pregnant with our daughter in the 3rd trimester. On the exact same day, we both lost our jobs. And
It was that week we were having a play date with a friend. So we're literally in her pool talking, and she's one of those whizzes that just comes up with business ideas. And she kept saying, just do what's right in front of you. And we kind of had to be hit over the head and go, oh, that's right. We didn't even see it ourselves, which is so funny at first.
Yeah, it's really funny how sometimes you can't see the forest through the trees, because it was like literally sitting right in front of us. And I fought it because I was like, no, we've got to go after the masses. There's not going to be enough. It was that we find your tribe. But I was like, no, we need everybody because there's more. But as soon as I got past that, I realized it really did set us apart. And it's really easy. It's a simple conversation now. And, I used to think, well, if you go so niche, are there going to be enough clients? Are there going to be enough customers? Are you going to be able to have a thriving business? And really, almost any niche you can niche down. It's almost impossible to niche down too small to not have enough clients. So, but you were saying for your probably now 4 listeners, if you're thinking about that, do niche down because it makes you special. It makes you stand out. And I think what you said there a couple minutes ago is so spot on.
Well, even in the beginning, we had the challenge because we still, even though we had our niche, we wanted to do more. And so it took us a few months to go, okay, fine. We're going to lead with the SEO because people want expertise. They want specialty and people don't believe from the outside that you really can do everything. So it made us more successful to have the additional clarity.
So I got a couple of questions specifically for you, Jonathan. One of them being that as a guy who you were doing SEO, you were doing branding, you were doing this type of thing. What number one, what was it that made you resist the very thing that I'm sure that you told other clients, which is, one of the worst things as an SEO person to hear when you're doing branding is when you ask them, who's your perfect client? And they say everybody. And you just want to knock them on the head and go, no, it's not everybody. You have some avatar types, but you have one specific customer. So what was it that, number one, gave you that resistance? And what was it that you finally learned from that experience that you now employ?
That is a great question. So I think, honestly, it was fear of lack. If I niche down, there's not going to be enough people to speak to. Can it really sustain itself? That I think is the number one thing. And I think that's the number one thing, why we want everybody. Now that I'm in it and doing it, it's no, I don't want everybody as a client. And we had to deal with that recently with someone that I was we turned away a very large amount of money because it just wasn't the right fit. And that was stressful and hard for me even still. But when you're clear, I think when you're clear on who you are and who you're supposed to talk to, it makes it easier. So once I could step through that fear, that's what allowed me to be okay with it. And then there was part two. What was the part two?
You got to step through the fear. That is absolutely true. And I'll get to the part 2 in a second. But it's one of the benefits of being your own boss is that you can fire clients. And it's a hard thing to do, especially if it's the money coming in. But I have found that whenever I fired a client that was not healthy for me, then it usually opened up more opportunities. So you got to admit, there's nothing better than turning away toxic work. No,
you're so correct on that. And I'll be quite honest, I'm completely lucky and blessed to have Sascha because she is the sage and sees it for real. I would have taken the client on and she's you would have hated yourself and it would have been a headache client. And I would have been like, but it's the money, because sometimes maybe it's as the provider, as the husband, you're well, I need to provide. But again, I teach my kids, this is a total non sequitur, but we just did a Spartan race this past weekend.
Way!
Yo, totally.
I did a video, just as a sidetrack. I did a video with my son to promote a Spartan race for a company that's one of the sponsors. Yeah, I'll put a link I'll send it to you, but I'll put a link to that video below, or Justin will, because it was hysterical. My son was like 2, and we got a doll that looked just like him, and I ran through the Spartan race. I gained weight. It was like me in the video, and I gained weight. So I had this huge belly, and we found this baby that looked just like my son, and I put him in this backpack, and I was running the race, and I'm totally out of shape.
For clarity, it was a baby doll, not a baby. For clarity.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but thank you, Justin. But I would cut back to him doing like some of the stuff with me, and we had people like freaking out. It was great. But man, good for you. And they're going to do something called the Strong Viking here in September, and I'm going to do it with my 4-year-old.
Dude, that's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So we had our daughter.
Yeah.
So we've done a couple other different ones before, but with this one, we didn't have anybody to watch our kids. So we went, and my daughter did the half mile first at 8:30. And like, talk about back to the fear thing. She was so excited to do it. And then when it started, she got terribly afraid. And like the whole thing, which is what I talk about in our back to the business sort of as well, is I said to her, it's like, hey, we don't quit, we push through. I said, look, trust me, you're feeling fear now, but as soon as you accomplish this task, when you take the action, the fear just completely dissolves. And that's going to be an amazing feeling. And that's what I try to teach her. And that's what I have to look at when it comes to my business.
Making choices, releasing clients, that sort of thing. We have to push through that fear on the daily basis.
And then also, just to close the loop, then Sascha ran and I watched the kids, and then I ran and she watched the kids. So it's like coupling family and work. If you want to talk about it, it's just a constant navigation. But the fear, back to what we were talking about before, is really, really, you got to step into it. You have to leap. You have to push through. And, you see so many people like, hey, I want to become an entrepreneur. I want to start a business, but I'm afraid. I don't know. And
we should just tell them to get used to being scared. Really,
pretty much.
Yeah.
That's really it.
No, and that's so true, because as an entrepreneur, you hit those moments. When I really got into starting my business, my son was 1 year. He was just born, and I had no clients lined up. It was in November, and I was late on rent, and it was one of those things where you're just like, this is where I step up, and if you can move past the fear, you can people, revolutions are started. The world has changed, and we need more of that in this world. We live in a society where people are riddled with fear, and they don't leave their houses, and everyone is trapped because of fear. And it is a time for us to get over that. So I commend you both for that's a great way to help your children. Although when your kid is 16 and you give that awesome speech, she's just going to look at you and be like, yeah, Dad, whatever.
Pretty much, probably.
Yeah. But right now, that's awesome. And so good for you. So let me ask you this. How did you overcome, what was that conversation like when you finally decided to step into that? And what's the road like? Because you have 3 kids, right? That are all under 5, did you say?
Yeah. So our oldest is 4.5. I'm going to explain it right now because everybody listening is going to be like, you guys are insane. So I'm 45. My wife is now 35.
Almost.
We're almost. Right. We're almost. And I didn't want to be like a million years old and start having kids. And so she was like, I want the kids to be 2 years apart. And she has this idea of having 4 kids. And so I was like, I'm going to be 90 years old by the time we're done. No way. And so our kids are 4.5, 2.5, and 6 months old. So they're literally 2 years apart, but their birthdays are all within a 10-day window. So it's
in December.
Wow. December 3rd, December 13th, and December 10th.
Man.
So,
I just hear that December is an expensive month.
But from a strangely logical perspective, because you have to be so intentional and plan it, I'm convinced that we actually spend less than your average family with 3 kids because we have to be smart about it.
That's true. That's why I married her. She's the logic.
There's a strange logic to all of it, but it does appear completely insane.
So take me back to the time when, like, okay, so you're pregnant, you're about to have, the kid, you both get fired. And so then you go into this process of like, troubleshooting, like triage. We got to figure out like the solution here. So what was that time like until you finally became solvent?
Stressful?
Yes. I think I was probably maybe bearable.
Ooh,
at best.
It's hard.
Yeah. It's really scary, like one day we had our paycheck coming in and the next day we didn't. And it's not like, I lost my job or she lost her job. It was like both of us and here comes a baby. So it was really scary. But the one thing that we're both really good at is in the face of something, we take action, and we have a faith that allows us to believe that we'll be taken care of. And so sometimes it's stronger for me. Sometimes more times than not, it's stronger for Sascha. She has a good header and she we work it out. We're a great team.
It also isn't the first time that we've had when I was pregnant with our first kid, I lost my job. So he had one then, but that was scary. So I feel like by this point, we're sort of veterans at leaning into the fear. And I think we kind of have accepted that the life of an entrepreneur is full of crazy ups and downs. So, and I'm a military brat, so I tend to be very stoic.
It's funny that she says that because I was literally going to say, she always says to me, embrace the suck.
Yeah.
And
so we just kind of lean into it.
And so we leaned into it. We talked about it. We were like, well, you literally go, well, do I go back and like get a survival job? And we're like, no, we are just not 9-to-5 people. We're like, well, it was in front of us. And we just said, let's do it. Like if there's any time to do it, like this is it. And so we were like, the name came to us and it just started working.
And we had actually too an interesting mindset shift because I know that it can be emotionally challenging to lose your job or to be in the period of struggle and to not attach failure to it. And so what we came up with was the concept of like, okay, this is startup life. So what does it look like if you're in a startup? And that there's an excitement there instead of a fear. And so we kind of switched it up that way and gave ourselves a little bit more leeway, less desperation.
You changed the narrative.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I did a TED Talk and I kind of touched on this subject, and it's about building your own narrative, and no matter how crazy it may seem, and allow it to be an origin story of a superhero. And when you change your own narrative to something that works, everything starts to fall into place.
That's absolutely it. I had, that's how I've approached any struggle that I've had, because I've had crazy challenges. And at one point I had a job where I was literally cleaning toilets in a movie theater. And that's what I told myself all the time is like, this is just part of my story because someday I'm going to be able to say I cleaned toilets for a living. So that's where I look at it all. It's all part of the story and your hero's journey.
Now, let me ask you this. Are you able to, do you have to do daycare for your kids? You have 3 kids, or are you actually watching them and doing the business at the same time while they're at home?
So to answer that question, sitting in front of us is a monitor while our 2 kids are napping, and our 6-month-old daughter is nearly getting into the electrical cords behind us on the ground crawling.
She was asleep. We got them all down before we started recording. Our infant woke up, so she's self-entertaining for the moment. We have a nanny and a babysitter that's 20 hours a week. The days she's not here, I take the lead on watching the kids while Jonathan works. And we are homeschooling. Our 4-year-old's too small for kindergarten, but we're doing reading and math and none of it's very conventional.
No, we're not conventional in the slightest. And I got to tell you, I never would have thought like this is the way my life would have turned out. And it's amazing. Yeah. Like I was talking to my daughter about it this morning at at lunch just now, how like she was sitting with me and I was like, most dads go to work and they come home late at night and like, this isn't normal. And I mean, I said earlier, we're a little crazy. It's like we work together, we raise our kids together, we homeschool together, we work out together. Like most couples probably like see each other maybe in the morning and a couple hours at night. We're together.
They have dinner together.
Yeah, we're together 23 and a half hours at least a day.
And then at dinner time.
As long as you like each other, that's good.
No, I mean, and that's the amazing thing.
That's just it. You like each other. It's obvious that you like each other.
And look, I am by far and away not perfect, and much less perfect than she is. And I can be a monster. But what I realize is the amount of time we spent together is probably like, we probably equated in our anniversary is on the 21st. So it'll be 5 years. On our 5-year anniversary, I will assume we have probably spent 25 years worth of time together of an actual real normal marriage.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I just got to commend you, Jonathan, because just you being able to say, that you're still a work in progress. And own that is something that a lot of men can't do. And so that's one of the primary reasons your relationship works so well, obviously.
Now, Andros, I feel a little guilty, though, because I have one child who's about to turn 13 months, and he's in daycare right now. And, here you are watching.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
No, but there's no judgment, because we've realized that everybody does it differently. What works for each person is so different.
And it's like, I mean, like we've had the conversation, like, do we put the kids? Because if we put the kids in some sort of like formalized thing, the amount of time we would have to like scale our business. Like if we tried to explain our workday, like the goal is for me to work by 9 o'clock and I'm usually getting started by like 9:45, 10 o'clock. And there isn't a day that I can get probably more than an hour's worth of time on average of work time, if you count in like being interrupted every 15 minutes. Now, Sascha has gotten great at like taking the kids and doing it, but there's the insanity of working in your house with your spouse, with 3 kids, especially in the Phoenix desert where now you don't take them outside because it's 110 degrees.
Well, oddly enough, so we had a co-working space, but we are also relatively minimalist. So we downsized our home, and now our home is too small and the co-working space shut down. So that's an interesting challenge we have now is in this summer heat. Like I am this morning, took all 3 kids out of the house so that he could have uninterrupted work time. Like there's definitely the next thing is going to be finding another co-working space and a larger house. Iteration is constant.
I have been in this exact same situation. And that my perfect sleeping hours were at 7 o'clock. I'd put my boy down for sleep. I would wake up like an hour and a half later. I'd start work by 9, be really cruising by 11, go to sleep around 4 or 5, and then sleep till 10. 10:30, and that was what I had to do. And I also had my son with me for most of his 4 years so far. So it's a challenge. It's part of the adventure. It's great that for all of us, our kids see us working on a regular basis, and I think that's really healthy.
It is pretty exciting when you think about it. Like, my kids will get to grow up. I mean, gosh, I know we're so far off on a tangent of this, but like my kids are going to get to grow up essentially being like, hey, my mom and dad were with us all the time. Like that's what they'll remember. And they'll get to see that we worked, but that we spent time and we were intentional about what we were doing. And look, I'm not like, it works for us. Like I know people that like, I wouldn't want to do it. And we don't judge. It's like, it's what we want. It's how we want to do it. And it's exciting for us. And like, I'm sure my kids, when they get to be 18 and 20, are gonna be like, they're going to have their issues that they're going to need therapy for us doing it this way,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we're all going to mess up our kids. That's obvious. It's just how badly is really the thing. Well, I commend you both. I think it's amazing. You're living the adventure, and this is what it's about. When you really just step into kind of the next phase, you don't. There's nothing worse than having to rely on someone else for your money, and
it makes it's oppressive. So, congratulations to you both.
Well,
thank you.
I'd like to switch gears a bit now. So let's talk about the business. Let's talk a little bit about holisticmade.com. I'd like to. So when you find a client or a client identifies you have a health and wellness company. Can you walk us through how you're helping them? I know you're doing SEO. Is that your main service offering for them? You're going to just optimize the website. And can you talk a little bit about your process for SEO?
Yeah. What's your pitch essentially when you get a client?
Okay. So first of all, when we started out, we were doing a bunch of stuff, and then we started like branding and funnels and blah, blah, blah. And it became too much. And so we niched down because I like SEO. And then we were also doing a little bit of lead gen. We do some LinkedIn lead gen and Facebook ads, but then I realized like Facebook ads, it's just, unless you're doing a specific aspect of it, it's all encompassing. Like you're constantly like, it's very hard to scale. And so
I'm familiar.
And so like with SEO, it's something I've been doing from the beginning of it all. So it's something I know really well. And it's interesting because SEO is kind of like faith. You can't touch it. Like I call someone and say, hey, I'm going to do this stuff and you're going to show up higher in the search engines. And they're like, well, how does that work? And why does that work? And why would I want to do it? Like there's nothing tangible, right? And so it's a really interesting conversation. So I try to have a conversation talking to them about what's going on with their business and where they need improvement and why you would want to reach the top of the search engines. Now, I first of all will tell people like, look, I will never promise you're going to be the number one person because I don't know what other companies are doing. I'll promise you're going to get great results and I'll get you to the first page for sure. And my goal is to get you to number one. But anybody that promises you number one, you need to run because there's no guarantee. You can't. There's no guarantee. And there's a lot of bad people out there that have given people like myself and some of the community that I'm friends with a bad name because of how they do their work. And so one of the things I did, I should send you guys the link so that you can put it on here. It's a really fascinating video I shot. I did a cold case and a cold case. I did a case study. And
it was a homicide.
Yeah,
right?
I was working for CSI Phoenix. Yeah, there were just like
bodies everywhere,
arms and legs. It was mass chaos. No. So I did this case study because like trying to explain to someone the power of SEO and what it does is like, it's impossible. So I did a Google search for the number one chiropractor in Scottsdale. I called them and I recorded the entire call. I put my phone on speaker. And so I screencasted like me sitting there videoing me, but catching the phone call. And I basically called and I spoke to them and I was like, okay, so like, hey, I'm doing some market research. I kind of positioned it. I'm like, I'm working with Google, which I figure since I try to get them ranked on Google, like it was not technically a lie. And I'm like, I'm partnering with Google, working with Google on some stuff. And you're the number one chiropractor in Scottsdale. And so I'm really wanting to show people like how the benefit of what it does is and how many phone calls a month you get just from that. And I said, so how often do you get a phone call because of this? And I figured they'd be like 100, 150, 200 calls a month, which I would think would be great. She's like, 550 calls a month. And it blew me away.
And then did she say did she think she's overpaying too?
No, but
that's my favorite when they think they're overpaying and they're getting 550 calls.
And now this wasn't my client. I was just doing it because I was just like, oh, here's a good thing. And I was like, this is a perfect explanation because if you're getting 550 calls a month and you get 10%. Now there's about 1,600 searches. The fact that I know this off of the top of my head is pretty sickening, but for chiropractor Scottsdale every month. So if you're getting 550, you're getting a slightly over a third of those calls and you close 10% of the business, that's 55 new clients every month. Like, what business doesn't want that? And so it was a way for me to visually show someone the power of why you want to use SEO.
Yeah, that's one of the challenges with anything internet marketing is people don't understand it. So yeah, you have to you have to tell stories and make things in tangible terms or visualized terms so that people can see the bigger picture. So I've had that challenge. Now, who's talking now here? Is that
would be Rylan? That's our 2.5-year-old. He just wook up from his nap. Yeah. So we got 4/5 of the family here.
One kid on each lap, and the dog is scratching behind us.
I love it. Oh. I love it.
I have a question real quick, Jonathan. I'd like to, I've had conversations with a few different SEO people recently, and there's kind of like a couple schools of thought as far as backlinks go. Well, one of the people I had a pretty deep conversation with was telling me that backlinks are being de-emphasized. I mean, they're still somewhat important to have some, heavy authority links, but they're being de-emphasized, and that content and blog articles and things like that are kind of the way of the future. What's your take on that? I'd like to hear your take on approach to, like, whether you think content is more important, backlinks, keyword optimization, like where would you rank that?
I'm not going to answer that like dead on. I'm going to kind of talk about it to answer it, because SEO has so many moving components, and like by the time this airs, it'll probably be a couple weeks. But just the other day, Google had a big update, and like every single one of us are like checking our sites, like who's going. And I had one site of ours that's an e-commerce site actually took a plunge by about 2.5 pages, and my guess is because it's e-commerce and it's not content necessarily driven. So I always believe this: content is king. Content is always important. Regularly posting blog articles, having your content be keyword optimized. That's all very important. And if you hear my son back there, that's just him. That's Rylan. So I think content is really huge. And there's 3 main components. It's content. You're going to take off. We're going to lose Sasha and the kids for a minute. Otherwise, we're not going to. I wish I. Oh,
thanks for. Thank you, Sasha.
All right,
you can come back.
Rylan.
You can come back if they're. Yeah.
Rylan.
Yeah, you guys can switch off.
No, we will. I promise you. Okay. And thank you, listeners, for the. So this is what work life is like. Just so you know. So the 3 things I always say are content, citations, and backlinks. Now, they may de-emphasize backlinks, but they'll always be a part of it. I mean, the 2 highest authority sites are Wikipedia and Google, right? They're built on backlinks and content, right? So I don't think it'll ever go away. Like, there was the whole talk, is SEO going to become non-existent? And now Google is finally realizing that people like us play a very important role. Like, in Google's terms of service, if you do anything to optimize your site to get better rankings, it's against their terms of service.
Yeah.
Right.
But people have been breaking for a long time.
Exactly. So it's like,
right.
And they know it. And so they're sort of kind of working with us a little bit, but they're not like, hey, here's like the olive branch. And so here's the thing that's the most important. There's black hat and there's white hat. And the black hat are the people that do all the stuff that's scammy, that gives us a bad name. And the white hat are the people that do it right. And you create good content, and you create real backlinks, and you make sure, like, you cross your T's and you dot your I's, and you make it as natural as possible. Now, granted, you are manufacturing some stuff because you have to, but you do it to the way that it is natural. If you're pointing links to a site, you create another site that actually provides value.
Yeah.
Right. Right. And that's like one of the clients that I have right now. The strategy that I'm employing is this very thing, where I'm going to start creating keyword-rich articles that answer like a question that revolves around that industry. Like, what is smart glass? So creating a blog article that, gets into some details and then posting it like on LinkedIn. That's a really good way of gaining good SEO. So searching that. What else would you do in that particular circumstance?
So for your smart glass guy, for example, what would I do? So I would create an article. So I like the idea of the article, but I would create it as an evergreen article that you can continually add to. Google loves it when you add to articles. So say you write a 1,000-word article, but make it something so it's not like top 10 things, and numbers and lists are great because people love to read them. But if you said like the major benefits of smart glass, right? And you did some stuff and then you found out, and then like a month later, you went in and added another 500 words and you're adding to an article, that's powerful. Obviously sharing.
Wow, that's great advice.
Thank you. So I always like to suggest to do that, because the more Google loves it when you consistently add to your site, whether it's pages or posts. So if you have a services page, but you don't have all your services pages built out, well, build out your services pages. Even if you're just adding one at a time, don't add them all the same day either. Like if you have them already, launch the one service and then a week later launch the other service page, because Google is then seeing consistent new stuff when they're crawling your site.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, for your smart glass, I'm just trying to think of what else. I mean, everybody always says like, guest post and get people to link back and all that sort of stuff. And I think that that's great, but that alone is a full-time job. And so, I have some very unique ways in which I do my stuff. Both because I work mostly with local businesses, they have a physical location.
That's easier.
It's easier and it's different. There's a lot more competition in the sense because everybody goes after the local, and I'm just one of a million people like sending you an email or trying to connect with you because they're like, oh, I've heard this 1,000 times. So we set ourselves apart by how we create our client relations. Like, for example, like our client was our birth center and our chiropractor was our client. And as a friend, she came to our daughter's birth. Like, that's just how we roll. Like, we're friends with our clients because relationship is the most important thing. And so like I have some very sort of ninja-esque stuff that I do to get the clients ranked in Google Maps, which is really cool. And it just has to do with creating like local relevance around your business and locations in the city and how we do it. I'll give a hint. Any picture that you have on your website, you need to geotag it with your latitude and longitude. Wow, this is geeky, but latitude and longitude, and then re-upload all the pictures to your website. It's basically saying every picture now, it says it's at this location, which can have a really good effect for where you're being ranked in the maps.
That's interesting.
I got another one, and this is one I just discovered the other day. If you are on mobile and you open up your maps program for you look for a pizza restaurant or whatever, and that company has a listing on Google, you can add photos. And it's just like anyone can add photos of the location of the restaurant, of the food, whatever. And so the more people that do that, the higher we'll also go in the rankings.
Absolutely. And I always tell all my clients, like, we optimize their Google My Business page. You want to have 30 to 50 images that you've posted, all geotagged, all keyword optimized in the metadata, because and I don't know how many people on here like know SEO, but like that's like the coding under the picture, which is basically saying this is what the picture's about. And
yeah, it's okay. We like to go deep on this show, so I like to hear about metadata and all this. Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, exactly. We are the marketing geeks after all, and let me tell you, our 7 listeners, they're some of the smartest listeners on podcasts today.
I have never met 7 smarter listeners in my life.
Yeah,
well, neither have we.
So Jonathan, well, when you're doing keyword research, I'm curious, are you using any tools like SEMrush or Ahrefs or just Google Keyword Planner? Like what kind of tools are you using for like keyword research or content planning? I'm curious, like what kind of tools that maybe our listeners might.
So I use Night Tracker. or Night Watch. It's Night Watch. It used to be Rank Tracker, which is really great. So I put my clients in there and I'll track keywords, and it tells me sort of the Google Search Console aspect of like how many searches are happening. I've used Ahrefs and SEMrush as well. I'll use Majestic to check links and anchor text and all of that with what's going on. Honestly, I focus. I really use keywords everywhere. It's a Google Chrome plugin, and it's nearly just as good. And it gives you the essential idea. Because for me, if I'm working with a chiropractor per se or a dentist, the main keyword I'm going after is dentist in the city, right? So then it's just figuring out kind of what their other things that they want to rank for are. I mean, I always tell them, and they think it's weird. Like, you want to say, hey, you're the chiropractor near me, because then you start to rank for the chiropractor near me. That's just a little side hint, and sometimes, clients are always like, well, I don't want those kind of words on my page. And I'm like, do you want the words on your page and have your phone ring off the hook and be there? Or do you want to make your page like 20 words and have a few pictures and nobody ever find you?
I mean, the reality is not that many people are going to read through your website like cover to cover also. So they're not even going to probably notice that you have maybe it's a little bit awkward on there, like the near me part, but they're probably not even going to see it. It's just really about getting found on Google. They click on it, they find your phone number.
Exactly. And I tell people, if somebody does read everything on your website, the odds are they're going to become a client because they're a highly interested buyer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to also give a shout out to Keywords Everywhere. It's a Chrome plugin. It's free. If you're an SEO geek, it's really very, very handy for sure. So, okay, well, what do you think then, because Google just changed their algorithm. We don't know exactly what they did because they never tell us. People kind of figure it out. There's like 210 different metrics that they say that they use, and they're changing all the time. One of the top ones is, of course, your site has to be mobile optimized. But do you have any inkling of where you think search is going, where you think that the next iteration of all of this is?
It's all voice. It's going to be optimized for voice. I think at least that's my inkling. Like, whether it's AI doing it or how they're planning on making it, but with Alexas and Google Homes and with Siri, and we know that, like, you mentioned something and the next thing you know, you're seeing a Facebook ad for it. I just had that happen the other day. Like, I don't get creeped out by it because I know it's technology and it's marketing, but people get creeped out by that stuff. But that's where we're going.
Which is interesting because it's a different way of speaking. So when somebody speaks to search, the keyword terms are going to look a little bit different than when they type to search. So I think I forget if they call it, what do they call it? Is it natural language when they speak? And or I don't remember the terms exactly, but I know that there's a term for like speaking versus
semantic
typing.
Search. Yeah. So I mean, I agree with you. I definitely think that we're going to get into more. In fact, I think that the next AI algorithms are going to be so advanced, they're going to probably feed you information before you even know you need it, which is also creepy because then, you can subtly be manipulated, as we have seen over and over again, especially with the dawn of deep fakes. But Jonathan, have you been following like the whole thing with deepfake technology?
I have not. I feel like I know the.
Oh, okay. Well, just Google it. Just Google it, like deep fakes, and there's this whole new technology that could basically warp reality. So videos of there was just a video of Mark Zuckerberg talking on Facebook about how he really works for Spectre.
I saw that they did the Pelosi one too, with making her look like she was drunk.
Yeah, that they just manipulated the video, but this is they got Mark Zuckerberg to actually say things he never said, and it looked pretty convincing. So So that technology is just going to get better.
And the voice technology is very good too. They can actually replicate voices in an eerie capacity.
Yeah. So I mean, we're getting into this whole new brave world, but let me just boil it back down to our subject, which is this: how do you think that natural speaking into Siri or Google Home, how is that going to change SEO, and how do you SEO that?
That is a very good question, and I haven't fully done that for most of my sites because it's so brand new. And we don't know exactly how it's going to be done, because here's the thing, and this is so weird, like the way you speak and the way it would look on the written page, they don't match. So if you put it on your site, it's gonna be jilty. And so it's finding a balance. Sascha wants to jump in.
Yeah, I feel like it's still going to be, I mean, Google wants people to find what they're looking for. And the way that we type normally is closer to how we speak. So if you're doing good content, that's going to pop up anyway.
Well, that's a good point, because ultimately Google is after the intention of the searcher. So even if you type a little bit different than you speak, if Google's algorithm is doing, or if their AI is doing its job, it should still match the intention to the right website.
Yeah. If the content is right, because I experienced that searching for things on Alexa, that the best, it's still a work in progress, but the best content is still trying to appear.
Well, Sascha, let me ask you a question. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We've got to wrap up the show, but I'd like to find out from you. Could you just tell us, like, what goes into good content? Because you're the content person. So when you write good content that's readable, that's interesting, can you give us some tips about like how you approach that?
You know, it's funny because it depends on what the point of the content is. Because if you're seeking out content for, say, a business Facebook page, then that's not going to appear anywhere, but it needs to be there. It's almost a placeholder. So if someone searches a business, they go and they see it, they see informative content, but you're on a Facebook page, you're not writing for the point of engagement or for SEO. Now on a blog, you're writing for the point of SEO generally. And then for, say, Instagram, you're writing for engagement. So you have to pick the reason for your content and then work based on that. Now you could be writing a blog, say you're driving from Instagram to a blog, then you're not doing it for SEO. It can depend on your traffic source as well. So consider where you're going to receive your traffic and what's the point of the content, and then you can know how you're writing it. Does that make sense?
So I have a question for the blog articles that you're writing. Let's say you are writing one with the intention of doing it for SEO. Is there like a specific word count that you kind of favor, like how many words are in the article? And then how many keywords do you tend to target in just one article? Do you just target a couple, or how many, like usually how many keywords are you targeting when you're writing an article for the SEO purpose?
This one's slightly more technical, so I'm going to let Jonathan talk on that one.
So 1,800 to 2,000 keywords. Whoa, that's large. 1,800 to 2,000 word count is what honestly what Google loves. But I'll throw up, I would say 8 to 10, 6 to 8, 500 word articles. I'll throw up then 1 or 2,000 word, and then I'll throw up like 1,500 to 2,000 word article, because I mean, a 2,000 word article is a big article. Most people,
long,
and most people, here's the fact nowadays, while Google loves the long article because it says you're an expert, most people want to consume 500 words or less. That's just, we're in the fast food society where, like, if I open up an article and it's a New York Times article and I see the scroll and the scroll bar is like really tiny and I'm like, I don't want to read this article. I don't care enough. But if it's a short one that'll give me what I need, I'm good with it. And so I feel like you've got to mix it up. You got to give them what people want, but then also, and I think Google is going to catch on sooner or later that like a higher word count doesn't necessarily mean better. So there's that.
Yeah.
And then
this is exactly right, because this is why no one read the Mueller report.
Right.
Just waited, like, I should have been able to read it in like 5 minutes, but no, you had to like make a novel on me.
How dare they?
Imagine that. Yeah. And I wonder how many keywords were in that thing. No, and then I say, like, I go with one main like keyword phrase that, I'm using in the title, and in the description, etc. And then throughout it, maybe depending on how long the article, if it's a 500-word article, maybe 2. But if it's a 2,000-word article, I might go for 4 or 5 keywords in there as well, or variations of the main keyword phrase.
And here's a fun strategy thing, though. So strategy-wise, 2,000 words, you could repurpose that into an ebook, and that's a 15-page ebook. So just a strategy thing for you.
That's a really good heads up. So Jonathan, do you come up with the keywords and then Sascha, you kind of execute it? You write the stuff around the keywords?
Typically, yes. So, and this goes back to the conversation of how we're working with 3 kids. So Sascha was doing all of that, but we've now brought on a team of writers
and an editor
that we have Sascha kind of oversee, and she's vetted so that we have our writers and our editor working the way that she would write. And so I typically will come up with the keywords or the subject of the article. And you guys probably know this, like the way copy is written and the way blog posts, it all changes. It used to be like top 10 things, and then it's, it used to be listicles, and then some, it always changes. And what was reading big 6 months ago was not reading now, and what's going to change in 6 months. So I'll use like Google and, see what some of the other search things are. BuzzSumo is great. Totally free and amazing is Answer the Public.
Answer the Public.
Which answerthepublic.com.
Okay.
I think it's based out of the UK, but like you type in a keyword and it'll like come up with a bazillion different questions.
Everything that people are searching around that keyword.
That's cool. I always like BuzzSumo, except they keep making it because they used to give you like 3 free searches a day, and now it's like 1 search. And they keep limiting it more and more. And it's about, what is it, like $200 a month?
Yeah,
it's not cheap. Yeah, it's great software.
It's a great tool, but the thing is, for us in the holistic space, when I'm writing articles for my natural dentist or my chiropractor, it's never going to get massive. It doesn't go viral. Whereas BuzzSumo, if you're looking for some of the stuff that's more general topic, I think it's great. For our business, it doesn't necessarily work as great as Answer the Public, or even. I mean, this is a total. I'm going to give a huge tip. You want to find blog articles to write? Go to Amazon, search their books, and search like natural dentist or something like that, and find the top 3 books on there and create questions out of their table of contents. You can do that, and literally you can have 40 or 50 blog articles right there in front of you that you can write.
All right. Well, we are getting to the end here. So what I do want to do is I want to open this up for you guys to share a little bit about. My understanding is you have a free offer for our listeners first and foremost. So how can our listeners work with you directly?
Yeah, because you teach this stuff too. You have a digital product, right? That you can teach people like all your tricks. So tell us about that.
Perfect. Well, why don't we give something away first? So if you want to, if you want to work with us, if you dig us, if you like our style, we'd love to connect with you. And so we would love to offer you all a free SEO audit. So you can email us at create@holisticmade.com, and we can send you the link, or we'll just give you the link to put in this if you want to do that as well. Whatever works for you guys best. And it will, you put in your name and your website and an email so that we can get it to you. And it will do a dialysis. It'll do a diagnosis. It'll do a dialysis of your website, and let you know kind of
as long as your kidneys are clean,
right? Yeah. Fresh blood into the kidneys, and you'll be doing fantastic. And so we'll do that for you. We'd love to do that for you. And then if you find some stuff that's not working well and you have any other further questions, on our contact page, you can schedule a consult with us. We'd happy to do it. And as well, especially since it's only 7 people listening.
Yeah, so it'll be very easy.
We'll go ahead and get that link from you and put that in the show notes. And then also if they want to email you directly, they'll have the option to do that as well. But then also you have a course.
Yes.
So you actually have a course where you teach this stuff to your customers. So tell us about the course.
The course is amazing. That we created when we realized that not everybody wanted to or had the funds to hire an agency. A lot of people, small businesses, want to do everything in-house. So we created the course Front Desk SEO, which is for anybody who it's simplified that anybody with a front desk assistant could do their own SEO.
And the way we built it is such that you invest in the program once, and we've created that you don't have to buy anything else. So all free tools, like we show some tools and stuff that you can pay for, but everything is designed where literally you don't have to put another dime in, and you can do all the SEO work. Now,
no gotchas.
Yeah. And now granted, as you guys know, there's some stuff that we have to do in terms of creating links and networks and whatnot that does incur cost. That's not necessarily included in the course because it's a much higher level SEO. But this is literally everything that you need to do to take your site where it is and really push the needle. And it's literally so easy that your front desk person can do it.
Nice. And how much does that run?
It's normally $497. We're actually about to do a big launch on it. After that, it'll go up to $997. However, we wanted to do something special for your listeners. Anybody that wants to take us up on it, we're going to offer it to you guys for $297, which will include access to our private Facebook group and coaching and mentoring. Nice. It's pretty sweet.
So we have a special promo code.
And I think you said
promo code is going to be GEEK.
GEEK, nice. Singular or plural?
S. Geeks. Sorry, plural.
Yeah, okay.
Apparently I forgot the S. The plural will be geeks, and that will take $200 off the price.
Nice. Quite a deal.
Nice.
Quite a deal.
Well, very good. Well, we gotta wrap it up. But real quick, tell me what you two are geeky about right now. It doesn't have to be marketing related. TV show, movie, book. What are you geeky about right now?
TV show Schitt's Creek on Netflix.
Yes.
Really?
What's that one about?
Have you guys watched
I haven't even heard of it. What's it about?
Oh my gosh, it's Eugene Levy.
I know him.
And what's her name? Catherine O'Hara.
The Home Alone mom, right? The Home Alone mom.
Yes, exactly. And they're like these huge socialites, bazillionaires, and they like lose all of their money, and the only asset they have left is they bought this town called Schitt's Creek, and they get stuck living there in the motel, and it's
amazing.
It is genius. It is genius. So that's the big geek on that. And then we just finished the season finale of Billions.
Oh, okay. I've not watched Billions yet. I heard that's amazing, but I just finished What If on Netflix. What If was interesting, I guess, sort of, but it was watchable.
I don't know What If.
It's a new one on Netflix.
Okay,
Justin, what are you geeky about this week?
I just finished the new 3 Black Mirror episodes. They're weird, but they're good.
I heard it's really weird.
It's super strange.
Yeah, I love weird.
I'm a little excited. I just heard Jessica Jones is out. Yeah, it's final season.
Out, but unfortunately, it's the last one because all the Marvel shows are moving to Disney Plus. So
yes, they are.
Watch the OA if you haven't seen it. The OA is great. And then for my amazing. And then for my geek thing of the week, I'm going to go old school. I just finished reading again The Stand by Stephen King. Oh my gosh, his best work. It is.
You know what I'm reading right now, Andros?
I read that over 2 decades ago. It's so good.
Oh,
go ahead.
It's worth reading.
I'm reading the book Bitcoin Billionaires right now, which is essentially like the spiritual sequel to The Social Network or the Accidental Billionaire, I believe was the name of the book of that movie. It's about the Winklevoss twins who, Mark Zuckerberg screwed them over in the Facebook deal, but how they went on to become billionaires in Bitcoin it's quite good. I'm about halfway through.
Yeah, wow.
So that just came out.
They're probably
really
less
cool.
billionaires now, but whatever.
They were much bigger billionaires in December of 2017, but
don't remind us.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, Jonathan and Sascha. say the last name because I'm going to mess it up.
Schlossberg.
Schlossberg. Holisticmade.com. Thank you for sharing everything with us. So appreciate it. Visit their website.
And one more time, the course was SEO.holisticmade.com. The promo code was GEEKS, and you can get that course for $297. So be sure to check that out.
Yeah, you could make that back with one client in a day. So with your new skills. So definitely worth investing in yourself if you do that type of thing. Next week, we've got more guests and more geek stuff. And with that, everyone, thank you. From
for another amazing episode of Marketing Geeks. We got exciting stuff coming, and the show keeps getting better.
And with that,
all good things.
Yes, all good things. We love you, all of our 7 listeners. Don't forget to tell 500 of your closest friends about us. And with that,